Hey everyone, how's it going? It's thomasdotd here, and today I thought I should finally show you all just what's inside this big box that you always see in all my videos. Now, as I'm sure the eagle-eyed of you can see, this is a giant box of my grandfather's old Lionel trains. It looks like there's a lot of items in here, and there's certainly a lot to cover. I never would have gotten to model railroading or O-gauge if it weren't for my grandfather. I found this box years ago, but you know what? I figured that we should go through it again right now because there's still so many things in here that I just haven't taken the time to really look into. Now, you'll notice in this video that I'm actually wearing gloves. That's because these things are so rusted and old. You know, you gotta be careful with these things. I don't want to get any crazy rust on me. I don't want to get anything that's been sitting around because these have been sitting in my attic for well over probably 60 years, I'd say. So the first thing you see before you even get to look at any trains is this really old Lionel catalog. Lionel construction sets, isn't that cool? Oh wow, take a look at this. These are the old Lionel illustrations that you could find in these really old catalogs. Next up in here we have these two accessory pieces. This looks to be completely metal, completely tin, or metal, I'd say. Now, I think that this was like a cattle thing, like you could put some cows in here and some mechanism would make them move, but I'm not sure how to set that up. Speaking of cows, look at the condition of this thing, but it's a Lionel milk car. I mean, there's just a huge chunk of plastic missing here. We have a wire sticking out of here. I'm not sure what that's about. I'm not really sure what this is. I'm not sure if it's missing a piece up here. It could. Next in the box is something crazy. Take a look at this giant passenger car. Now, this is what I was talking about why I'm wearing gloves. You know, there's a lot of rust on here, and the paint is like flaking away. It's just really, really bad. Lionel Lines Madison. I don't know much about these cars, but they sure look old. I can't actually tell if the top of this is plastic or if it's metal. There is a lot of track in here, but this is a really cool piece. This looks like a four-way intersection kind of train track. I know some of the items in this box are really, really old. Just take a look at this old steam engine. I think it's really cool that there are some engines in this box and not just some box cars and track. Now, those are really cool, but to see an engine is kind of, you know, what you're here for. But I don't think this is Lionel. I think this is a Marx engine. It's engine 490, it says. It's a very simple kind of 040 setup here. Take a look at this. It's an old Lionel transformer. Now, this was a really cool piece, but sadly it's missing the front bogie up here. That's a real shame. I don't know what this is, but it's certainly in here. It's plastic. But it's old, so something tells me it's Lionel. Oh, now this is cool. We even have some old Lionel signs in here. This is a danger railroad crossing sign. You know, this is so cool. This thing is completely metal. There is no plastic on this, and I think if we turn it around, you can really see some of that rust. Now, here's another cool thing. This is a crossing gate. You know, as I was picking those things up, I found this car here, this old Lionel car in the box, and I'm thinking that this piece goes on top of it somehow. Missouri Pacific 205 diesel locomotive. Looks like it has a coupler in the front here, but no coupler at the back. I'm not sure if that snapped off or if, you know, there wasn't a back coupler. I'm not very sure. This is a pretty collectible Lionel diesel. It has these bulbs in here that light up. We have another old Lionel transformer, and if I move this over here, you can even see the word Lionel on the transformer. This one looks like it could probably still be used. It actually doesn't look like it's in too bad of a condition. Now, here's something really interesting. It's a steam engine tender that says Lionel Lines. So I know there's a steam engine in here, so I'm gonna have to really look around and try and find it. But the tender feels really lightweight. It almost feels like it was like gutted or something. I'm not too sure. When you look in here, in this little hole, it's completely see-through, so I'm not sure. Now, here's something unfortunately in a sorry state. Back then, they just had molded on axles and there was really only one wheel underneath. But as you can see, everything's snapped and broken off. This thing moves, but I don't think it's going to move, to be honest. Here's just a bunch of track, and inside the box, there's so many more pieces of track. Now, this is cool. This is a Main Street street sign. Ah, it's the moment you've all been waiting for. I told you there's got to be a steam engine in here, and this thing's so heavy. Look at this. Now this one, I know this is a Lionel turbine. It's number 671. I'm not sure if you can see that. But this thing is so heavy. I'm telling you, they don't make trains like this anymore. I would love to see if this thing can run. I'm not sure if this is the tender for 671, but it's the tender my grandfather had, so it'll work. There's really not much else in here besides for a couple more pieces, like 5 more transformers, but take a look at all this track. I mean, this is like taking up the whole box. Some of it's in a really good condition. Some of it's really rusted, as you can see in the back. This is kind of what made me want to get into O-Gauge, because everything I needed was kind of given to me from like years and years ago, you know? But let's take a look at the table over here and look at all these really cool old Lionel things. That's so cool. But here we are on the layout. It was so cool seeing these old trains, but I really want to see if any of them still work. So as crazy as this sounds, we're gonna try and run some of these really old engines. Let's take a look. Well, clearly it still wants to run. Ah, that's so cool. So that old Marx engine still works. But let's try that diesel, huh? Transformer is all the way up to 100 now, nothing's happening, so let me give this train a little nudge. Oh, wow! Somehow, some way, that diesel worked, so let's see if that big behemoth, the old turbine, still has any juice in it, and I really hope it does. Alright, there it is. That is a true classic Lionel train. If this thing works, I'm gonna be so stoked. Let's give it a go. Oh, light turned on and I think it just moved. Let's try that again. Oh, that is so cool! Well, I don't know if you can hear me that well, guys, over the sound of such a very loud train, but thank you so much for watching. It's so cool that all these trains can now, like, have a new chance at life. They all have a new breath of fresh air in them. They're all running pretty well for the most part. And it's just so great that I get to carry on this legacy from my grandfather so many years ago.